Good afternoon, Wrestling Inc. Get up, get going. Welcome back to the Wrestling Inc. Daily. It's me, your managing editor of WrestlingInc.com, Nick Hausman, joined here today as I am every Wednesday to have a happy hump day, talk some pro wrestling news. It's our good friend, comedian, Brian Wohl. Brian, welcome to the Wrestling Inc. Daily.
Hey, Nick. Hey, everybody. What a great day to be talking about wrestling. But, oh, man, last night, what an NXT.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to dive into that here very shortly. Couple things to go over from NXT. Definitely a big one from the end of the show. Before anything, before the news, before the interview, before the mailbag, I just want to start off by wishing friend of the show, Ron Killings, R-Truth. It's his 50th birthday today, Brian. And I just think the man is timeless. It's incredible. 50 years young, R-Truth.
Yeah, I read something yesterday. He has officially wrestled in WWE in his 20s, his 30s, his 40s, and his 50s.
Yeah, man.
What a spectacular career and fascinating man.
I think in ring, I think he goes to 65. I think he's got another 15 years in front of him. Definitely dozens, hundreds of more 24/7 reigns. And I still want to see him, drop the guard. Let's see the real R-Truth. Let's see Ron Killings come out and have a little program there with somebody. That's what I'd like to see.
I loved when he turned heel on John Cena and he smoked the cigarette and just blew the smoke on Cena.
No, anti-cigarettes. No, boo.
Oh my gosh, that was
Not
a crazy.
Not
that
a fan
was
of that angle.
that was shocking.
Yeah, as in like, no, I hate that.
It was so weird.
I don't want to get down this rabbit hole. We're not talking. I don't want to talk about cigarettes. I'm just gonna get very, very upset. So the chat room is open here today. If you want to participate, like Antonio, Adam, Bit, Elizabeth, we have John here. Happy birthday, R-Truth. Samantha, he looks great for 50. Andrew, good evening, fellas. I guess you're wherever you're at. It's nighttime. That's fine. So join the chat room. If you never watch us live, you can tune in 5 o'clock Eastern here on all the Wrestling Inc. socials, any of them you like. Come on over. But if not, you're listening to us in audio form. Hi, welcome back. On today's show, if you're listening to us in audio form, after the news block, you're going to hear part one of Raj Giri, the president of Wrestling Inc.'s interview with WWE Hall of Famer Diamond Dallas Page. He's got a bunch of projects in the work. He talks a little AEW. We're going to run the second part because they went for about an hour on Monday is the plan right now. So you're going to get a little DDP this week and a little DDP next week. So stick around for that. And then in the mailbag, we'll talk about AEW Dynamite from last night. But let's get to it. News you can use. News that will leave a bruise. Brian, you are itching to talk NXT. I have like 2 or 3 items here about the show. The big one, of course, the Walter item we dive into. But is there something you want to talk about? I feel like you've got something you want to say about NXT from last night, Brian.
I do. I guess the positive side, great to see Cameron Grimes back. I thought Cameron Grimes looked like a star last night. So that is a positive. But last night's NXT with Saray's new look and now Walter being Gunther Stark, we are now in a situation where it's like, I'm not sure if it's like gross incompetence or if it's malice or if it's they're really trying to go in the direction of maybe like super campy, like they're trying to make NXT 2.0 into like Glow and everything is very, very broad, but it is really cringe watching right now. It is really hard, man.
It was the first time too that Tony D'Angelo didn't pop for me. Like his confrontation with Carmelo Hayes, I just kind of felt like it was there, right? He got a little lost on some of his lines. I felt like maybe they're trying to over-script him or something. Remember that laundry list we got, Gino the Hammer and Fred the Brick and Samantha the Groin or whatever,
What the hell is this?
Yeah, I was also really lost in the fog last night watching NXT. So yeah, let's dive into some of the stuff that Brian just referenced there. So the main event of NXT saw Walter defeat Roderick Strong in singles action. After the match, timeout. Before we get to the name thing, Roderick Strong, do you think he has a pro wrestling tee store with his family that he set up today. I think he like launched his own yesterday, and then it like mysteriously went away overnight, and then today his family gets to have a store. Does it feel like this guy's long for NXT? It doesn't feel like this guy is long for NXT to me.
I think it's time to go. I mean, the writing's on the wall for everybody that was around before this NXT 2.0 launch. It's just like,
dude, look what they did to Dexter Lumis last night, man. Done. Dead. That man is done. That man is, and luckily he's a vet who's like been through some weird stuff in his career. Like all he did was an Impact for a while. You know, you get bad booking. He knows he's getting fed booking that is not favorable to him. Kudos to you, Dexter Lumis, for going out and doing your job still very well. But him and Roderick, I watched that show last night and I was like, damn, they're beating this thing like a rug right now. They want all the dirt gone from this thing, you know?
And Cameron Grimes too, I feel like, is being set up for that. But at least he knows how to maximize his time when he gets the mic. You know, he does his best, and he's a heck of an in-ring performer. But I feel like all these guys are in survival mode right now.
Yeah, and Scott Allen swearing, saying Strong should go to the Indies or sign a league, you know, whatever. I obviously he's got to look over at what his Undisputed Era buddies are doing over at AEW right now, whether or not they see it or need for him in there. I don't know if there was a chance where he could have swung earlier and was like, oh, I think it'd be better for my family if I stay here. Best of luck, guys. You know, that could be I don't really know, but it would seem there's an opening there. But yeah, dude, it is a rough market with the way it is just piling up out there with big talent at the moment.
And what's going to happen with this show when the Olympics come on in a couple of weeks?
I don't think
who's going to follow this to sci-fi.
I don't. Yeah. Well. That part. Yeah. I think there's a very good chance AEW outdraws Monday Night Raw when Raw is on Sci-Fi, which is going to be its own kind of story we're going to discuss here in the coming weeks. Yeah, a lot of things. So, all right, back to NXT here. So Walter then, after defeating Roderick Strong, who, by the way, many people commented about in the comment section, Walter takes the microphone and he says the winner of this match is Gunther. Right? I think it's Gunther. I think he even said it a little closer to that. It's not Gunther.
Yeah.
As much as I know my hillbilly roots wants to say that. WWE filed a trademark to Gunther Stark on January 13th. The apparent name change is receiving a lot of criticism on social media, as Gunther Stark was also the name of a U-boat commander who served in World War II in the Kriegsmarine, the navy of the Nazi German party. Kappelstark died at the age of 27, June 8th, 1944, while at war in the English Channel. I made it so close. WWE has officially changed his name to Gunther on their website. So not Gunther Stark, but Keith Lee said what a lot of fans were feeling. Man, if what I'm hearing is real, poor Walter. I mean, just like everybody. I mean, dude, you Google the name. It's not hard to find, right? I'm sitting there with Liz last night, and I'm like, Liz, this is crazy. She's like, this can't be real. Googles it. Says Gunther Stark WWE, Gunther Stark WWE2. Those are two things you don't want right next to each other, right? Even dropping just drop, like, you can't hear Gunther now without thinking back to this name. Like, no, what? What are we doing?
I did see former WWE writer Dave Schilling write on his Twitter that how plausible it is that they just didn't notice this and how easy it is to slip through the cracks. But when you hear the stuff that they pitched to Ali, you hear the stuff, the other stuff, I mean, you can go back to like Mexicools riding on a lawnmower.
Yeah, or the Lucha House Party, which Kalisto or no, it wasn't Kalisto. I think it was Grand Metalik put that one together with Lindsay, where they're like, we'll do a stereotype. Vince will love it. And they made it to TV for a very long time. Yes.
Yeah, it's, man. And also, for those who are saying like, it's only smart fans that would notice this. Everybody uses Google. Everybody Googles. Also, WWE used Google as a reason to keep China out of the Hall of Fame for years because of her involvement in porn. Because they were like, what happens when you Google China? The first thing that comes up is porn now. So no, I'm not buying that they don't look at Google, that they don't know.
Well, and what I think is because if you were listening, if you caught up on some of the interviews that I released over the holiday break, one of them was the Alexander Wolf interview, and he was an Imperium, right? And if you go and you listen to the interview, you can go find quotes of this on Wrestling Inc. too. I bring up the presentation. I was trying to be nice about it, but I was like, a lot of people see these militant German men coming out to Wagner, and it can, create a certain kind of aesthetic. And he's like, he pretty quickly understood what I was saying. It was like, we are not that. We want to make it very clear that as Germans, we are very against that. We want nothing to do with that. So, I mean, I don't want to sit here and say like Walter knew and these guys knew and they did it because maybe they didn't know. Maybe that WWE people are just so sloppy that they can't Google a trademark when they're picking a name. Maybe, I guess. But this is not what these guys want either. This doesn't do them any favors in Germany, for sure. No way,
So boneheaded, man. It's just so frustrating. This company's supposed to be a global corporation.
Hey, Phil, your job is to Google the trademarks before we file them. Did you do that? You didn't do that? You've just been filing. What if you just write things down and you send them in? Oh, that's Oh, Phil. All right. Well, you could stay. We're going to fire about a dozen other of the developmental talents. Really bad, man. So let's see here.
Not only that, can I just say one more thing?
Yeah.
We as a main roster audience already know who Walter is. He showed up in Survivor Series 2019. It's not like the main roster has not been introduced to Walter, and he also was the face of NXT UK for years.
Yeah.
Even if you don't watch any NXT UK matches, you saw this big beefy Austrian there.
Yeah, and Scott Allen swearing here, saying Gunther instead of Walter. That's not going to happen. Yeah, man. I go back to what you were saying up top. Why is this happening? Is it intentionally malicious? Because it's kind of starting to feel like it, right? There was definitely a surgical cutout of Hunter's crew, right? That's pretty apparent, unless your name was Shawn Michaels, right? I mean, you listen to Scotty 2 Hotty in all the interviews he's been doing recently, and that guy is open about how he was just defeated and broken and walking on eggshells and just miserable, right? And yeah, I don't. Is this Vince raging against his machine? I'm not really sure. I don't really know what's happening. I get lost sometimes,
Reading one of those Scotty 2 Hotty interview transcripts, one of them he said that they were all the coaches were supposed to cut their hair short and dye their beards.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I can't help but think of Vince showing up on TV the last 3 weeks on Raw. And each week he looks more, I don't know how to say this, but Botoxed.
What is up with Vince? Vince is I watched Raw and I was like, Vince is an insane human being. That monologue that he gave to young Austin Theory about breaking people till it's blood and snot and broken teeth. I was like, you're going to go sell Alexa Bliss dolls? Wait, this is the kids show? Because that was one of the most terrifying shakedowns by a mobster that I've seen accurately portrayed on television in a while.
And all of this after they put out that thing in the press about how AEW's got this blood and guts with ladies cutting each other.
Yes.
What? How is this the same reality?
Yeah.
Man, it is so hard to understand.
I don't think it's that hard to figure out, right? Our great conduit to the insights of the WWE, Freddie Prinze Jr., laid it out on his podcast. He's like, I talked to somebody at Fox. Vince and co wanted to sell WWE to Fox outright. Fox was like, this costs too much. They decided to license the WWE SmackDown for 3 years instead. And what we are seeing is a 3-year dismantling of anything that is literally not necessary to the boat, right? As long as it floats and there's no holes in it, scrap everything else. Everything has got to go in this boat, you know? So, all right. Some people have started talking about Veer. That's good.
Veer's in the boat.
So while we're talking about NXT, you mentioned that there were some changes to the characters last night. 2 superstars actually debuted new looks. Solo Sikoa, he's got this face paint like his brothers, the Usos, used to have. But as per the storyline, he decided to don this face paint after taking a fireball for Boa. He now has face paint on one side of his face and makeup on the other to make it look like burn scars. And actually, you know what? This may have been my highlight for NXT. I thought this was cool. I like Solo Sikoa.
Yeah, I like him. I like him in the ring. I don't know. It's hard to take anything seriously. I want to be on board, but it's so hard, dude.
He will be protected. He will be protected and made to look cool because there are too many things they could do with him. He is fine. I don't worry about Solo Sikoa. This burn thing, I'm about it. Whatever. I think it's good.
Do you think he's gonna keep the burn scar for a long time, or do you think it's just
no? I mean, it's like we say like his brothers, but they don't really wear face paint anymore like they used to.
Yeah,
right?
and it was a different kind of face paint. It was.
Yeah. I agree. I don't know if I agree with the fact we drew that parallel there, but whatever. Very proud of our team. All right, so Saray, she's been repackaged. You referenced this in the vignette. She revealed that she flew back to Japan after getting frustrated with her lack of progress in NXT. And while in Japan, she found a necklace given to her by her late grandmother, which reminded her of her roots. And she explained why she is the warrior of the sun, promising to return to the U.S. with renewed passion and energy. Yeah, this was straight anime, going all anime, full anime.
Yeah, Saray, before she wore like kind of red gear with gold trim to it. In this presentation, she had pigtails, kind of like a schoolgirl type outfit, and glasses.
Yeah, Lance Santier, like a Sailor Moon knockoff, right? Like it was like a very surface level idea of what anime is, right?
Yeah. Very kawaii type thing. It was really odd. It just feels like another broad stroke character. We have Tony D'Angelo, the mobster. We have, here's another broad stroke character where it feels incredibly campy. And so, like, I don't know if this is a decision to go like full camp or if this is just box of gimmicks, Bruce.
Well, but this is like what it's like, everything's in a cycle, right? We are now right back to where WWE was in like 93, or 92. We are on a 30-year cycle, right? The Goon is on his way,
Duke the Dumpster Drosy.
Duke, the Drosy on his way. Mantar coming back. Big return for Mantar, But that's what it is. Like, and in that period, Vince became weak. I was reading some comments from Brandon Thurston over at WrestleNomics over on Twitter earlier, where he was talking about how there was really a time frame in there from I think it was, he said 2013 to 17, where fans were quickly like the land grab for content. Like everybody was finding stuff in new ways. People were watching more WWE pay-per-views because of the network, but because the product was not very good, all those people left, right? If the product had just been better, we may not be in the situation we are right now. But that's the thing, is Vince is finding his Vinceisms and he's regressing, right, in the way that he's connecting with his audience. And it's creating an opening, like in 92, 93, for somebody else to come along. And that's exactly what's happening again. It's all cycles.
Yeah.
I
just wish we were in the cool cycle. Right now, this is lame.
There's cool parts of the cycle, I guess. All right.
Yeah, I've enjoyed some matches in WWE, and AEW's brought a lot of joy. GCW is really fun right now.
Well, one name that looks like it could be, we don't know what's going to happen. So Joey Janela talked to Fightful, and he confirmed his AEW contract is going to end in May. Now he's hoping to stay with the company, he says, but very interesting that he did this. I don't know if this was set up. Joey doesn't do a lot of press. I don't know if Joey wanted this out there on his own. Not really sure what's going on with Joey. But another guy that, because of the influx of bigger names, has really gotten lost in the shuffle over at AEW.
He has. I really thought that there was going to be some sort of way where Joey would be like the Dolph Ziggler of AEW, where he's kind of like the gatekeeper, but that didn't really happen. I don't know what's gonna happen with him. I enjoyed his pairing with Sonny Kiss, but then they broke that up. He's got that big female heater right now, and that's kind of cool. But
I don't know that I don't see him as a WWE guy
yeah,
personally, right? We've got some interviews coming out over the next couple of days. Ninja Mac, Effie, GCW, the World on GCW competitors for this weekend. And talking to Effie, like this guy's like resigned to the fact where he's like, dude, I'm not going there. They don't want me. Do you listen to me? They don't want me. I don't want to be there, right? He's
yeah,
happy and he's making a lot of money on the indies right now. You know what I mean? So I maybe he'd just be happy there. But I think he'd happy making a lot of money at GCW too.
yeah. I think there's definitely something to Joey Janela just being a guy that generates his own income. He's really been able to put together some great shows, and he'll always find a spot for himself, whether it's in AEW or GCW or all of the above.
Well, Fightful also saying WWE has strong interest in Roxy. Now, the 20-year-old Roxy worked the December WWE Performance Center tryouts along with Monster Factory Project Notorious Mimi, many others. Word now is Roxy performed well at the camp. It was noted there was a significant push within WWE to get Roxy signed to a contract even before she did the tryout. The December tryouts were so big that WWE bussed the competitors in and gave Performance Center trainees a few days off. Regarding Roxy, in the past, there have been cases where WWE has passed on much younger talent because they were, quote, too young. But that seems to not be the case. And this is a layup. Of everybody in ROH, when this thing folded, that I thought would wind up in WWE, she was top of my list. Only one that makes any sense, really, considering what they're looking for.
Yeah, she fits all the requirements that they listed. She's young, she's got a great look, she works well in ring, and because she's young, she still hasn't had a lot of bad habits that they say.
Exactly. They like
I
that.
love
They're
that.
like, we need something we can mold right now.
Yeah, and she
Yeah.
seems enthusiastic about it. She's been posting about it on her Instagram, so I feel like this is a layup. But maybe WWE wants people with no wrestling experience whatsoever. Who knows?
She's trained by Booker. I think she's young enough where they think they can mold her. She has some
Yeah.
TV experience. And again, I think that it's with her being so young, I think their attitude is like, well, what if she wants to have a baby at some point? How long is that going to is it going to be till that happens, right? They're like, she's 20. That gives us maybe more time here, right? And I feel like they're investing in women much younger than they are men. Like, for sure. Like, I think there's I think they would like that. I think like 28 to 32 is their that's what they really are looking for with guys right now for whatever reason. And women, it's younger. It's just an observation. So
Yeah, yeah, it really seems like that. It's I don't know, man. I feel like they also are being wacky because they did have a bunch of their roster go out on maternity leave during COVID, but I feel like they did that because they knew they weren't touring. It seemed like a lot of folks planned their pregnancies during that time, and they did it to the advantage of the company. They'll have like Lacey Evans has got to be coming back anytime, like any minute, right?
her and Asuka, I feel like Rumble entrance.
Right.
Yeah.
Although Asuka was not pregnant, she just had the arm injury.
I'm just saying, coming by
Yeah.
Bailey, same thing. I think Bailey, Asuka, Lacey. I think there's a couple women that they may be holding back right now to flush it
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's plenty of room in NXT for another top talent, and Roxy seems like she would slot right in there.
All right. Well, Brian, thank you for joining me at the top of the show. Talk all the news of the day. Thank you so much to DDP for taking the time to chat with Raj in about 5 minutes over on the Wrestling Inc. YouTube channel. So many of you watching right here, jump over. You can watch the first part of Raj's conversation with DDP. And again, I think the next part's going to air on Monday. So we'll dive to the mailbag now at Wink Daily, WINC Daily over on Twitter. That's the account to follow if you want to vote in the daily poll. Today, we're looking at tonight's AEW Dynamite. It's a pretty stacked card. Just wanted to gauge interest in what everybody is thinking going into it. So of the matches I listed that I asked people, what they're most interested in. By the way, only about 85 votes, which is very, very low for our poll. I don't know why it's so low. CM Punk versus Shawn Spears got 41.2. They win. Sting and Darby Acclaimed behind them at 30.6. Varsity Blondes versus House of Black got 20%, and then 8.2 for everything else. I'll say Adam Cole and Britt, they're teaming up to take on Orange Cassidy and Chris Statlander, which I think is also going to be very interesting. And Serena Deeb is going to take on Sky Blue tonight as well. So what are you interested in? What's got you hyped, Brian?
I actually am in lockstep with the poll winner, CM Punk versus Shawn Spears. I enjoyed Shawn Spears when he was the perfect 10 in WWE, and I feel like this match is definitely going to be the biggest match of Spears' career so far. So let's see what happens. I feel like this is a great opportunity for Spears to show out.
Sure, I think it'll be good, but personally, I've been enjoying the Acclaimed Sting Darby build. I like the music video a lot. Two grown men going through a goth phase. I was like, that's pretty good. That got me. So I'm partial. I don't know that, I hate to say it, but because I like Brian, but I don't know that he and Garrison have really, I don't know that they've grown into their TV role yet. I'm not vibing with them. I think they're going to be good at making House of Black look very dominant, but there's something just kind of missing there for me with those two right now,
I mean, they're very young, so it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah,
and like House of Black is clearly, ready for the top. They're amazing, and they're gonna run through these guys.
Yeah, it'll be cool to see Brody King make his in-ring debut.
Yeah. I get to see Brody King's PWG debut about 4 years ago now, 3 years ago now. Oh my gosh! So it's so amazing to see him on TV. It's like seeing a punk band that you saw just make it to the big time. It's cool.
Yeah. So we have a couple comments here. Let's see. Headlock heel. I didn't vote because I'm interested in all the matches. Maybe there should have been a whole show option. Oh, you excited for the whole show? Well, that's great. Headlock heel that you're. I mean, and that's 5 matches I prattled off that all have some. I think with the Serena Deeb stuff, I would be surprised if Sheeta attacks her from behind. I feel like these two are constantly at each other's throats, so I don't really know what we're gonna get there with her and Sky. And yeah, the Adam Cole, Britt Baker versus Orange Cassidy, Chris Statlander match. It is interesting to me that your AEW Women's Champion is now like slotted in a mixed tag act, while Jade Cargill is also kind of she won. I don't know that I'd consider a defending champion quite yet. It just feels like the women's titles just kind of faded away all of a sudden. I don't know if you felt that vibe or not.
Yeah, it feels like it's taking a back seat for some reason. I don't know what the larger plan is. I'm very curious about Cody tonight.
Yeah, what is Cody going to say?
Yeah, we haven't seen him on TV in like a month. I know he had COVID, but there was other stuff going on too. So I'm fascinated to see where this character is going, because when they showed him on TV last week, the crowd booed like heavily.
Yeah. Well, maybe you know what? Maybe he comes out and he says, "There's been a lot of rumors about my future, but I want you all to know." And he pulls out the paperwork and signs it. I am all elite. Everybody goes, "Yeah!" Like, how can you boo that guy, right? Maybe he's been building to that pop. I was thinking about that today.
Maybe. Just go through another flaming table. Everyone liked him for a little bit after that.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to put a button it there for today. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Come back tomorrow. I'm going to be joined by Paul Pratt, a.k.a. Polio Del Mar. My interview with Ninja Mac or Effie. I don't really know. One or the other. We're not sure which order we want to put them in. They're both great, though. Are you very familiar with Ninja Mac at all, Brian?
No.
Ninja Mac has a Cirque du Soleil background. He's kind of like a Reggie. He's like the Reggie of GCW, though I don't think
very cool.
I don't think you would appreciate me saying that. But he's going over to Noah here, and he's going to be at the Hammerstein Ballroom on Sunday night. And I think you guys are going to all really get to enjoy getting to know Ninja Mac. Really, really interesting backstory. The Wrestling Inc. Daily is on iTunes. Give us a 5-star rating and a nice comment. Wrestling Inc. is on all the socials. And of course, the Wrestling Inc. podcast is back here tonight after AEW Dynamite. So come back. BWO, what do you want to plug, put over here to wrap up the show today?
Oh man. You know what? Yesterday was actually the 10-year anniversary of a show I did called I Made America.
I
It was
saw that.
created by Mark Musinski, and it starred Keith Habersberger, the Try Guys. It also had Catherine Cunningham, who's on all sorts of TV shows, and just some amazing actors. And yeah, check it out. That was a fun show. I Made America.
Check it out, everybody. I'm at Nick_Hausman over on Twitter. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I will talk to you tomorrow. And remember, if you winked, you didn't miss it.